Hi everyone, so I'm doing my reflection today and hopefully the internet won't cut out. It's been cutting out in a lot of times today in different places. So we didn't get a snowstorm here. They were saying there was going to be a severe snowstorm and advising people to stay off the road. So thank goodness we didn't have to deal with that. But I've been posting the posts from Africa, from some of the African leaders, and also the Nelson Mandela Childrens Fund. I used to be a speaker for them here in Toronto. So I do still watch what they do. Unfortunately, they shut down the branch here many years ago. I had been interested in working with them. So my job search continues. Still nothing has come up, but I'm persevering. They're saying that our economy is growing, and so I'm hoping that's going to lead to better jobs. And also 4.1 million people are using our food banks, according to the Toronto food banks. I've written to the MPs, I've taken action, because there was an action put out on LinkedIn to write to them to ask for better income supports for families who need the help, who are out of work. And for those of us who sponsor our parents, we are supposed to take care of them. We're supposed to be able to provide for them. Because when you bring them here to Canada, the government doesn't provide for anything because they haven't worked here. But when you're not working, or you're earning $9,000 a year or $15,000 a year or under $35,000 a year, how are you supposed to make ends meet on that? Or if they give you like a 20-cent increase, that's what Teleperformance used to give us. I think they gave us like a 25-cent increase after 2 years. So is that supposed to be a living wage increase? I mean, it's ridiculous. And we're executive. Most of us who are working in those customer service roles, we're account managers. We're not uneducated people. We're not people that are at the bottom of the barrel, that have just walked off the street and have nothing to bring to the table. But the way they pay us is like we are at the bottom of the barrel and the bottom of the food chain. And even talking to friends in England, they're saying that the same thing that happens to me here happens to them. They get propositioned, they get treated like they're prostitutes. And I thought they were joking. They're like, no, you should just do whatever they said. I said, no way. I'm not willing to prostitute myself to get work. I refuse to do it. I report it. I report all the text messages I get and everything to the Toronto police. And I do it through social media. And that is something that I have been told to do by the police here and also by the condominium managers. And I post it on social media. And this is a global thing. So if we know something, if we see something, we're supposed to tell others so that others can also be aware and others can also protect themselves. Because it doesn't just affect us as adults, it affects children too. And in the old days, we'd say, yeah, they must be joking, but they're not. They're not joking. They're perfectly serious. They want you to come to their apartments, clean for them, and if they pay you extra, then they'll have sex with you. It's very upsetting and it's very disturbing. And I've even seen videos of that, with so-called recruitment companies in UK. They're offering to take people across, but part of their job is that they have to have sex with people. Or they say that, oh, this is a nanny job to go and take care of children with a family. And then when they get there, it's actually a prostitution role. So, for me, I'm not open to it. I have never been open to it. And as a spiritual director, why would I want that for myself or other women and men? It's trafficking. Whichever way you look at it, it's trafficking. So the minimum wage in Canada needs to come up to at least $25 an hour because the companies pay you the least amount they can. And to own a place here, you have to be earning an average of $200,000 a year. When I bought my place, I was earning under 50,000 a year. And I took it on a high-end mortgage ratio. So it's sad that I couldn't keep my place, because as a single woman, it's very hard to even get onto the property ladder. And it was a nice property. It was in this area, not far from here. In fact, if you go up to our roof, there's only 14 floors in this building. If you go up to the rooftop, you can look out and you can see the buildings where I used to live. It's not that far away. So I just think it's sad what's happening to our world. And I'm standing up for South Africa. That's part of my responsibility as a Wits representative. And yes, I'm telling the African leaders and Donald Trump that South Africa should be there. Africa should be represented. And the problems that are happening in Africa, yes, they should be sorted out. But at the same time, those of us who are here, who left everything, we're not getting work, we're not getting onto the property ladder, we're not able to buy our medications, we're not able to afford our medications or eye care or dental care. And how do they expect us to provide for our elders if you've only worked one day of the year? And you're getting the worst paid jobs because there are no jobs available. So we are all responsible for using our voices and helping to change things. And I take action. I don't just talk. I write to the MPs, I make phone calls, I apply for jobs. And if you are not open to this kind of a thing where they're inviting you to trafficking and prostitution and sex work, you should stand up for yourself. I stood up for myself, and I would encourage others to do it. Because at the end of the day, it's your body, it's your mind, it's your values that you are going to perpetuate in society. And for me, I don't want a society that's built on trafficking and prostitution. I don't want to have to take jobs on, whether it's in administration or cleaning or whatever, where I'm going to be propositioned. That's not what I want for my life. So you have to make your own choices about what you want for your life and your children and grandchildren and nieces and nephews. And it's important. It's an important part of the work I did with the Nelson Mandela Childrens Fund. It was an important part of the work I did for the One campaign. And I stood up to it, even with the Global Fund. I stood up to it. Because if you support it, and then women land up taking their lives, they land up killing themselves, women and men, because they are forced into those situations. It shouldn't be acceptable in this day and age for us to be expected to prostitute ourselves and traffic ourselves. It should not be acceptable, in my opinion. And I know what I'm talking about. I'm an educated woman, and I'm a graduate, and I'm somebody who's lived in many different countries in this world. So for today, for the scripture, we're focusing on Acts 11:22-24. Then news of these things came to the ears of the church in Jerusalem, and they sent out Barnabas to go as far as Antioch. When he came and had seen the grace of God, he was glad and encouraged them all, that with purpose of heart they should continue with the Lord. For he was a good man, full of the Holy Spirit and of faith, and a great many people were added to the Lord. If any church leader could be called a servant, it is Barnabas. He initiated and did whatever it took to raise morale, men or money. He led with clarity and led by example by becoming a servant. He considered no task too small. What allowed Barnabas to demonstrate such a lifestyle? He had nothing to prove. So Barnabas, unlike in today's society and with many things that happen in companies, he didn't have to play games. He never sought the limelight. When he mentored Paul, he happily let the emerging apostle rise above him. He had nothing to lose. Barnabas didn't have to guard his reputation or fear that he would lose popularity. He came to serve, not to be served. This enabled him to focus on giving, not getting. He had nothing to hide. Barnabas didn't maintain a facade or an image. He remained authentic, vulnerable, and transparent. He could rejoice with others' victories. And so the reflection question is, how can you apply Barnabas's lifestyle to your own life? So before I did the reading and I gave the scriptures and the reflection from the book, I provided my own examples of what I am doing and how I am taking action. And so it's up to you, it's up to each person what kind of life they want to create, what kind of lifestyle they want to create. Unfortunately for me, I had limitations. I had limitations because of my income. I had limitations coming from the global south. I had limitations because I had contract work and sporadic work. But with whatever I got, I did the best I could. And I mentored others, I helped others, I took steps in my community. I built up the priests and the church leaders. So I've done whatever I can, and by God's grace, I also have my health under control, and I have the medication that I need. In many parts of the world, people don't have access to medication, to treatments. Things are changing now in the global south because companies are investing there. They're building up their own supplies, they're building up their own systems, which is good. But the hard work that I did from here, others benefit from there. My life shouldn't be going into poverty and destitution with people sending me messages to traffic me when I am helping others, not just here, but also in the global south, to come up and to have better lives. So there is something wrong with this country, fundamentally wrong, and with the values that it's perpetuating. It's become so bad, we have gun crime now on the TTC. It's become that bad that they have to have police in the TTC stations and on the TTC trains. We never used to have that. Toronto was very safe and it was very easy to just get on a subway and go somewhere. But because of how things are now, this is what it's been reduced to. So I would encourage you to use your voice. I would encourage you to take steps for your own life. I'm taking steps for my own life because what happens to me, it impacts not just me, but also the rest of the family. And it's very distressing when you've lost your job and you pick up the phone and you call family and they turn on you and they make it about them. Because in that moment, you are the most vulnerable. This is the most vulnerable time in my life. I don't talk to family anymore. Because when I need the support, when I need the comfort, when I need somebody to say, you know what, don't worry about it. You just relax. We'll come, we'll make you a cup of tea. Nobody does it. But I do it for others in the hopes that one day somebody will turn around and do it for me and show me that little bit of kindness. And that's what we have to do as Christians. We have to set the example and we serve others. We're not here to be served. We are here to serve others, to help others, not just to stay at home and be consumers. And I don't like a society that's being built to be consumers, where people don't have to work, they don't have to earn their living, they don't have to take on unchristian values. Because those principles are very unchristian. To just stay at home and consume and not work and not be responsible. They're very unchristian values. So you have to choose for yourself. For me, I'm not giving up. And if it means relocating and going back to South Africa or Zimbabwe or somewhere else, I'm prepared to go. Because this has been going on for over 20 years. Since I came to this country, it's been going on. And believe you me, people who come here from Africa, we don't like how we're being treated. We also want to be treated with respect. We also want to have the dignity of work and to have good paid jobs and stability and home ownership. We take our responsibilities seriously. We also want to have that dignity returned to us and to be treated properly. We also want to have people there to support us, to be overseeing things, not to always be the ones that are being made to do the menial work, travel from one place to the other, 3 hours, 4 hours a day. And I want to have that administrative job where I'm going to be overseeing things, and I'm going to have that support in place so I can also work a day shift and look after my health. And it is possible. It's not impossible. Other people get it, so why can't I? I'm also worthy.